Welcome to the Sala Talks, where we're spilling the tea, sharing laughs, and keeping it real. My name is Martha.
And I'm Denise, and we're your hosts and new besties, inviting you to join the conversation that starts in the sala but hits every corner of life.
All right, let's get into it.
Vámonos.
Welcome back to the Sala Podcast. We're going to be talking more about marriage, divorce, and surviving family drama. This episode is just more about us being honest and talking about our lives and what we've been through. And a lot of it is going to be a little bit shocking to some people because some of it is going to be me spilling some secrets. Denise probably spilling some secrets too. And we just want to be open about just some of the experiences we've had. Obviously, by the title of this episode, we will be talking about our own marriages, our own divorces, and just how we dealt with it with family members. We want to debunk some of the shame and guilt that we experienced, probably in just going through a divorce, going through being married without people knowing.
How we got there,
Yeah, how we got there.
how we
And
got married, when we got married.
yeah, I've been personally reading like a scripture more in terms of like the Bible and stuff. And not that I'm following any type of domination or whatever, but I ran across this verse that really stuck with me about marriage and divorce. And so just to read it, it says, furthermore, it has been said, whoever divorces his wife, let him give her a certificate if of divorce. But I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality causes her to commit adultery, and whoever marries a woman who is divorced commits adultery. And so we were talking about it yesterday, and it really, like you were breaking it down, but for me I was just like, this is weird. This verse seemed kind of off to me, and I had to like bring it up because yeah, I thought it was just a very weird verse, like how they're saying, but I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except sexual immorality, which is like adultery, right? You know, that's the only reason why someone should be getting a divorce, if they're committing adultery. And then whoever marries a woman who is divorced commits adultery.
I feel like, I don't know, because I kept trying to interpret it, and it feels like this version of the Bible puts all the blame on the woman. Like, but I say to you that whoever divorces his wife for any reason except for an affair is committing adultery. How do you have to commit an affair first before you commit adultery? Like, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no.
And it just doesn't make sense. And it has to be a man to divorce a woman. A woman can't divorce a man.
Yeah.
So if a man was to commit this, like, what what's supposed to happen?
I know, and it is not fair in that sense. And so I think about us, right? I know for me, I was a person that initiated a divorce. Like I wanted a divorce, but because shit just didn't work out,
Yes.
right? So like, interestingly enough, we're both best friends. We went through the divorce at the same time. We were married under 30 and we were divorced under 30. The other day you had told me, "Oh, we're going to be second wives. We're going to be part of the second wives club." And I was like, "What the hell? I never even thought about that." Because yeah, I just
But does
didn't
the
think about
first
it.
one count? I don't know, because in the military, your first marriage doesn't count. So I feel like my first marriage doesn't count, but it does count because I have a whole human with this person.
Got it. So how about let's get into it? Let's get into it because we're like getting into that we're married and we're divorced without even the
Yeah.
details.
And you said yours didn't count either. So it's like both of our marriages didn't
Yeah, it
count.
didn't feel like it, but legally we were married,
Yeah,
right? And
legally.
so I'll I'll start off by saying yes, I was married to I
No
was
names.
no names.
No names.
No names. I was married to the person I was with for a very long time.
You could imagine.
We were in a long-term relationship for 9 years.
If you know, you know. You had to be there. It was an era. It was an era.
Gosh, yeah, we were together for 9 years. Nobody knew that we were married. You were the only person that knew that I was married.
Yeah.
And
So much pressure.
I mean, I
Yo,
guess, yeah.
secrets, bro.
You definitely held that down. And the reason why we got married, it was my idea because at the time we got married, it was COVID, and I was working at this place that I lived on site at my employer's.
Before we jump into this, can we talk about how me and you almost got married before we got married?
That is
to
very
these
true.
individuals.
Yes.
Because I thought about that today
Yes.
during dinner I was having with Cheryl. And she was like talking to me like, oh, what is your podcast going to be about? And I was just like, this and this. I was like, but funny enough, me and Martha almost got married before we actually got married.
We probably should have got married.
And she was like, what? I was like, yeah, my bitch needed medical insurance and I wanted more money.
Yes.
And in the army,
Yes.
like, people were getting married left and right with their best friends. So I had brought it up to Martha, like, yo, I'll give you medical insurance and I'll just
Yeah.
keep the money. Like,
That's how bad capitalism is that I was
willing.
Right, we were willing to get married. We
I
were
was
willing to get
willing.
married. And to this day, I'm like, maybe I should just get married to Denise.
I'm sorry, I should have never interrupted you, but I was like, yo, we should talk about us.
You're fine. But that's actually a good point. I mean, we considered marriage to one another. that's
Things
That's
would have
how-
been better.
Sala Babes. That's how much we love each other. We consider getting married. We consider married
The
through thick
realness.
and thin. You feel me?
Yo,
Anyways, but like I was saying, we
back to this individual.
back to my story about how I got married to this man. So basically, it was COVID, and I was living on site at my employer's, and it was just that type of job. Because COVID wasn't allowing anybody to come inside of the building, and he would stay with me most of the time. Actually, like, it's almost as if he was living with me. It was very convenient for him too. It was close to his job. I was like, why don't we get married? Because the only way that he could stay with me indefinitely and be able to come in and out as he wished during COVID was by being married legally. I told him it was my idea. I was like, hey, like, what do you think? We could get married and it doesn't have to really count. We'll do it. Like, I at the time, I'm like, this is going to be my forever person. Like, I like, we'll do it legally, and then you'll actually propose to me when you're ready and whatnot. And so he was with it. Like, he was actually very happy about it. I'm sure he was, because, like, we loved each other enough and trusted each other enough to be like, yeah, we're gonna get married. And we got married, and at the courthouse we had like a random ass stranger witness our marriage. And I thought it was cute because we had a legal marriage on Christmas Eve. So the marriage certificate said December 24th, and I was just very happy about that, just because it was a cute date, right? Not that it was serious. Yeah, no. So we just told each other, like, this is not a real marriage, but it's real by the state of law. So yeah, we got married, and he was able to, like, stay with me without any problems. So
That's so weird though that your job at the time did that, because you guys got married December and like the world didn't shut down to like the end of January. So how did they know that that was
no.
going to be implemented?
It was 2020, the end of 2020.
Yeah, I got pregnant.
It was the end of December. It was December 24th, 2020. So it was already a whole year.
After COVID, so I already got married.
You were already married. And remember, I don't know.
That's how irrelevant this marriage was.
Yeah,
Shorty don't even know the
I don't remember
date of
the
her marriage.
timeline. I don't remember the timeline.
I remember mine, and I got married in end of April crazy enough, it was like the day or two before his parents' anniversary and my mom's birthday. We got married at the courthouse in Texas. It was COVID April. Um,
I mean, 2020 is still COVID. Like, COVID was still a thing
it passed
throughout 2021.
We were well,
In
it
New
had
York
just
City,
started.
it didn't pass.
It was Texas, April 2020. I was very much very much pregnant. Yeah, we got married, but I think this was definitely on my account because I was very hormonal and I felt like, okay, like I'm pregnant, like this, I'm definitely gonna be with this person forever. And I was like, let's get married. My ex-husband wanted to get married before I was pregnant like a few times, and I wasn't ready for it, but I felt like, hey, like I guess I'm pregnant, let's do it. You know, I love you. But it definitely wasn't enough because in my head I definitely knew I wasn't in love with this person. I just knew that I was pregnant and this was the father of my child. So I needed to marry him because that is what my family would have done or would have wanted me to do, and that's what I did. So I got married, and the only people that knew at the time were our parents, or my parents and his parents, well, just my mom. And never gonna forget, it was pretty much, since we were both active duty army, it was easy for us to just wake up, go. We didn't need to set an appointment, anything. It was just straight up go, show ID, get married. And we did that. We didn't have no witnesses. It was just me, him, and the judge. The judge let us record the whole thing. I was laughing the whole time. It was like, I, Denise, ha ha ha, take you.
No, I'm dead. Was that like? I feel like you probably was laughing.
I feel like I knew in my heart this shit was a joke. Like my intuition knew this shit was a joke. My marriage was a joke. Like I think we both knew. And the crazy part is that I was his second wife.
Yeah, for him.
I was his second wife. And I feel like, not that, that should have brought up red flags, because no, me and my ex-husband, I feel like we're better off friends than partners. And, he's an amazing father when we co-parent. But together we were not a mix. And if it wasn't for our child, I don't know how we lasted, how long we lasted, because I definitely initiated the divorce. He wanted to do couples therapy. We did couples therapy, but in couples therapy, I feel like I grew the balls to tell him in his face, like, I don't know why I did this. Like, the therapist was like, well, why'd you guys get married? I was like, I don't know. Like, at that point, it clicked to me, like, he wanted to get married to me before I was pregnant because of money. And now we're married and we have a kid. And it's like, I think I did it because it was just, hey, I'm pregnant and you're the father of my kid. And I'm not saying I regret it. I wish things would have been a little bit different. But yeah, that's how we got married. I know I got pregnant, I think 7 months after we met. And that was like the craziest part of it all, was because we started dating and I think we trauma bonded so quickly. And it's military life. Military life goes so fast. Like, it's literally like you meet and you instantly get married because like, that's how you could stick together. Like, you're gonna get paid more. They're not gonna be able to move you. You guys will stick together. Like, you guys are a unit now. Like,
that's just kind of messed up. You don't think?
I mean, the
That's
army always pushes family first, but I don't think it's ever that. Because you have to really advocate for that and fight for that, and if you do, you get reprimanded or whatever. But to each his own. I had an amazing leadership when I was in Texas, and a pretty good commander and certain platoon sergeants when I was in North Carolina. And just military culture, everything is so fast and you're so alone, and I think you're also so young and vulnerable that you just do these things without thinking. That's why I'm my ex-husband's second wife. And he'll eventually maybe have a third, who knows. So not judging him at all, because like I said, it's military culture. It's kind of normal. People are going in at 18. So everything happens so quickly, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I thought about that when I joined the military, about starting a family. Like, that was not in my bingo card at all. The world
Yeah,
shutting
no.
down was not on
You,
my bingo
I,
card.
when you was going into the military, I didn't think you were gonna come out. I mean, when you told me about the whole thing, I mean, I remember when you both were talking to me about it. We were at a high IHOP. We were just getting food.
Yeah, you were so shocked to find out that we were trying to get pregnant before we
Yeah,
actually got pregnant. Because you were like,
yeah.
what?
Because it's not normal. That's not no. But like there are people who are out
Yeah.
there. But also like we were also talking about your ex-husband was talking to me, and I was telling you both, like how I'm considering getting married too, and he was just like, "See, Denise,"
Yeah.
but he also at the time I understood it as transactional because that was
And
for
I just
me.
wasn't for that. Like, I was
No,
not. It was very from the beginning, like from the moment we met. And I think that should have like opened my eyes, because he also just got out of a relationship with, his high school sweetheart. So he was obviously heartbroken, and I should have like kind of seen into
the
that.
signs, the
Yeah,
red
like,
flags.
he wanted a family, he wanted these things, and then when it was presented, it's scary. Like, it happened, we were trying, it wasn't working, we stopped trying, here it is, boom, a child. So it's like, it
Boom, a child.
boom, a child. Like, we were really trying, and that's the part that, like,
Dude.
because if you really, after finding out I was pregnant, I feel like everything went downhill. But yeah, so I was responsible, did what I had to do, and I appreciate my son so much, because he really saved me and gave me the balls to do what I feel like my mother always wanted to do but couldn't do it with my father. So yeah, I appreciate my son so bad. He's awesome.
That's great. I mean,
Yeah.
hey, I think I think you went into a little bit about like your divorce and like what.
Oh, why did I divorce myself? I mean,
Well, I like
divorce this individual. How do we get into that?
getting divorced. Well, for me, I think for everybody in the world, like COVID definitely showed me who I am and who I don't want to be, and just like the road I was going down. And COVID for him just kind of hit him hard, and he was going through his own things. We were together for like 9 years, and so I didn't like what you were saying earlier about it's easier to suffer with someone versus like suffer
Oh,
when we're apart.
yeah, I was watching the Carol G Netflix documentary, and she was like, uno se queda en algo tóxico para no sufrir. Like, some people stay in toxic situations because it's easier than to suffer and go through those feelings
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, and I was like so invested, but I started therapy when COVID hit, and cuz I knew I needed it. I was also going through some like i- internal things that I needed to resolve, and I just didn't understand why. And so for it took me a year of therapy to um realize that I didn't want to be with that person anymore. And we were already married at this point, and um he was getting his mental health was getting worse, and I really wanted him to like us to go to couples therapy and for him to go to therapy, but that's just something that he didn't believe in, and nor did he feel comfortable doing. And so it was like me constantly begging him, like, this is what I need from us. And we would try to work on things. But to be honest, I didn't have the emotional capacity to. It wasn't just him, it was me too. Like, I would silence myself when we would get into conflict. And that was like emotional abuse for him. The way he would approach it was just like he would try to fix me and try to teach me things that I wasn't even receptive to because then my mind wasn't even there. And at one point we agreed to try to talk it out through like writing shit down. And it was the weirdest and most uncomfortable thing because we're talking and writing shit down. And because he's like, I guess he was trying to get me to understand him, but I wasn't. But he wasn't. I don't know if I didn't feel like he was understanding me. Like I felt he was. And just for context, he was 4 years older than me. So like we were both on a different wavelength.
I mean, it's not much of an age gap.
It's not.
It's not much of an age gap, but because I know this individual, I feel like he used that to your advantage, especially you being
To his advantage, you mean?
Yes, to his advantage in the sense of like you're younger, so you're easier to mold and to manipulate.
Maybe.
So I felt like that was like the whole concept, the whole like strategic of the beginning of your relationship. And once you started growing up and maturing and becoming your own individual, I don't think he had control of that. And I think that's what like was part of also the spiral of the demise of your relationship, because you became your own individual.
Well, I was always my own individual because when I moved to Florida,
but that's when it became like, you know, that's when you really came out of your shell. Like you're out there. There's no one around you to control you, to tell you what to do.
He didn't want to be with me when I decided to move to Florida
because you were down there.
Well, before I even moved, he was
he gave you an ultimatum for when you were picking out grad schools. I remember that.
But I understand what he was feeling though. Now I understand it after this last relationship I was in. I understand it fully because he wanted us to be a partnership. And I didn't even tell him that I wasn't looking at any grad schools in New York.
Yeah.
I was looking at every school outside of New York.
I remember.
Because one,
far away too.
Financially, it was easier for me. Because I wasn't going to get any funding here in New York.
And healthier family-wise. Like, I remember the dynamic at home.
It was just not healthy. And so he felt like, wow, she made a decision without me. And we were, mind you, 7 years already in that relationship. I made a decision to move out of New York without even him knowing. And so him in his mind, he thinks
I could see that
we're in a long-term relationship. And I'm just making this decision without him. It's not, and he felt like it's not a we, it's an I. And he always felt like that. He always felt like that it was always just me and never just me and him.
Yeah.
And so I was able to see that. And now that like I'm just got out of a recent relationship, and I'm now realizing like, wow, I was begging for that, for like what this other person wanted from this previous relationship. Hey, Sala Babes. Now listen, today's convo got a little too good, so we had to break it up into 2 parts. In part 1, we dove into being married, why we kept it a secret, and just all the intricacies of marriage that people don't really talk about and why people stay in marriages. So this one got deep. We spoke about generational patterns without even noticing. So I hope you had your cafecito, your wine, or whatever your vibe is, because this was just the beginning. You know, we couldn't fit all that wisdom, laughter, and real talk into one episode. So make sure you tune in into next week for part 2, where we go even deeper and wrap this up the Sala way, con corazón, and maybe a little chisme too. So make sure you share it with your comadres, con your tías, with your cousins, your primas, whoever. And don't forget, what happens in the sala might just help you heal.